but you're feeling confident that no matter what it is, players won't be annoyed by the monetization of this game.
Well, we want to make a great game, and we'll be following its development, and we'll figure out what makes the most sense.
I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Diablo Immortal's monetization problem is one of the worst in all of gaming.
Gamer Braves.
You see the title of this video and you might be like, yo, what's the point? It's a lost cause. And I don't blame you. Bellular News and other media outlets have highlighted and documented the issues with Diablo Immortal's monetization, rightfully so.
Long story short, it's about 40 to 45 grand to fully max out 6 5-star gems to rank 10 right now. In essence, one stat, the final resonating bonus would theoretically be 50 grand. And put your total at a little over 100 grand.
These issues need to be brought up and shared because as one of the biggest franchises in all of gaming, Diablo Immortal will be setting the precedent for many free-to-play games to come. So what I intend to do with this video, instead of bringing up all these points that I'm sure many of you have already heard of, is to look at the ways that games like Diablo Immortal could have handled things differently. To look at this issue at a hopefully different perspective, and to encourage discussion, and for us as gamers to look critically at in-app purchases and monetization. It's easy to look at all free-to-play games with monetization and make the blanket statement that all of them are bad. But there are games out there that handle specific aspects of their monetization that's widely regarded as positive. I'm not saying that these games' monetization systems are perfect. Each of them have their own problems. But in the midst of Diablo Immortal's controversy, I just want to shed light on ways that games can better monetize themselves. But before I get into that, I just want to share some of my thoughts on Diablo Immortal's development as someone who took part in the game's technical alpha and multiple closed beta tests. Now, don't crucify me for saying this, but I actually feel that without the monetization, purely in terms of a gameplay perspective, Diablo Immortal is a pretty decent game. When it was first announced during BlizzCon 2018, literally everyone hated it. We had historic moments like,
is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
But following that, as the game went into technical alpha and the multiple closed network tests, the community at the time were gradually starting to see the game in a more positive light. Yes, there were missing features and some parts of the game weren't the best, but many of us really do feel like it's a worthy entry in the Diablo franchise. And this was without most of the monetization mechanics. So at its core, it does feel like a good game. And people were starting to see it. When the game announced its release date and the fact that it was coming to PC, you should have seen the comments on the YouTube video. For what feels like the first time in forever, players were responding to Diablo Immortal positively. Many of us felt like the game had redeemed itself, that it went from
Do you guys not have phones? Yeah.
to
We should be on PC as well, whether or not you have a phone.
So you can only imagine how it feels for the fans who've supported the game during the alpha and the beta, the fans who gave the game a second chance when everyone else despised it, only to see the game's monetization in the way we see it today. And this brings me to the next part of this video. How games can handle their monetization better. Will Blizzard decide to dial back on the microtransactions in Diablo Immortal? I don't know. But what I do know is that there are better methods that games can consider implementing to improve their monetization. Whether you're a game dev or a passionate gamer yourself, hopefully you find this section informative. First things first, no pay to win. Forcing players to choose between spending thousands of dollars or spending literal years just to max out their character is not acceptable. For the game's monetization to be ethical, in my eyes, players should not be allowed to purchase anything that gives them an edge in gameplay over other players. Some players might feel that it's okay-ish in a purely PvE game, but the moment the game has any PvP content, that's a huge red flag. Pay-to-win mechanics deserve to burn in the pits of hell. No discussion about it. So that brings us to the question, what can we monetize? Cosmetics. Heck, Blizzard already proven how successful it is with Overwatch. The system in which it's handed out, aka loot boxes, deserve a whole different video altogether, but at its core, letting players buy skins and purely cosmetic items that don't give an advantage over other players is fine. Look at Azur Lane, one of the most free-to-play friendly gacha games around. Players have come forward time and time again that obtaining every single character in each new event is very doable without spending a dime. So how does the game generate revenue? By letting players directly purchase skins for their anime waifus. No loot boxes involved. What you see and what you pay is what you get. This kind of system would work in Diablo Immortal. The game already has cosmetics like pets and wings. Let these items be the main things that players spend their money for. Overwatch is already proved that Blizzard has what it takes to design amazing cosmetics. If they're not behind loot boxes, players will be even happier. Other games like Warframe and Path of Exile, which use the free-to-play model, have also proven the same thing. It's possible to be free-to-play and have a monetization system that's well received. In the case of Warframe's cosmetics, they even have things like Warframe Runway, which are like fashion shows. If Space Ninja Cyborgs can do it, any game can do it. World of Warcraft does it. Players love it. More cosmetics get sold and everyone is happy. Another lesser known thing that I personally love about Warframe is that if you haven't logged in for a while, say 2 weeks or so, the game will give you a 50% discount coupon for your next premium currency purchase. More games need this. Real-life businesses hand out coupons all the time. Games using the same system is fine. So yeah, there are some great ways to monetize that we can learn from Warframe. Now I have to admit, as a whole, the game's monetization system isn't perfect. Riven mods are problematic. But again, just to reiterate, we are looking at specific monetization practices used in free-to-play games that work well, not the whole system. Besides Warframe, another example that we can look at is Path of Exile, a game that's extremely similar to Diablo. It's proved that you don't need to soft-cap content or paywall them for players in order to make bank. Personally, one thing that I don't like about Path of Exile is that inventory space has to be bought with real money. But on the other hand, one aspect of the monetization that's done very well is the supporter packs. Yes, I know they're pretty pricey, but Grinding Gear Games, the developer, did an amazing job with how they presented these packs. Sure, these are basically just bundles, but because they're called supporter packs, it makes the purchase sound like it's an honest, conscious effort to support the devs. Add to the fact that some of these packs come with the digital soundtrack for the game and exclusive titles for supporters to use on the forums, and it's one of the few in-game purchases that actually make me feel rewarded for supporting the game. So there you have it, some potential but not perfect solutions and methods to fix the monetization issue in Diablo Immortal and many other free-to-play games. The sad thing is, even if Diablo Immortal pulls off a Star Wars Battlefront 2 and backpedals on their decision, the damage has already been done. We're bound to see other games in the future that will try to emulate what Diablo Immortal is doing. During the time of this recording, the game is the 13th highest grossing app on the Google Play Store in the US, ahead of Raid Shadow Legends. So if we, as gamers, as consumers, want things to change, we need to take a stand. We have to bring these issues up and maybe even their solutions to light. Because what started as a cheap horse armor purchase in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion has been normalized and turned into the monetization landscape that we see today. This has been banned from gamer briefs. I won't tell you what to play or what not to play. All I ask is for us as consumers to hold game companies accountable for their services. I hope you found this video informative, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey there! Thank you so much for watching our videos. Don't forget to give us a subscribe if you'd like to see more, and like so we know what kind of content you want to see. Got suggestions for new content? Let us know in the comments below too. Thank you so much again for watching. Take care, dudes.